So I'm gonna start this video off a little different. We're actually here in my house. And the reason that I'm up here is because I wanted to show you guys all the seeds that my dad has just sanitized. Sadly, I did not get any video of him doing that, but here they are done and ready to be packaged. You can see he's got each bag labeled. That way they can go in there and they won't obviously get tipped and spilled anywhere. This is actually the containers that the seeds will go into, and they'll get dunked down into that, I guess you would say, hot water bath. And that way obviously they don't fall out and they can stay in there nice. Then when they come out, all these, they're kind of like clumpy, and then he'll take like a little knife or a fork, actually the knife's right here, and he'll just spread them out, that way they dry nice. And now after a couple days, they are ready to be packaged. So that's what I'm about to do now. It's just really cool seeing all the different sizes and the colors of the seeds. I just packaged this one up. I kind of get in the shadow there, but you can see that's like a hanging basket tomato that we're gonna sell. And the seeds are puny compared to like these red night and how they're teal, and these ones are like a brownish color, so it's just pretty amazing. There's Daisy with her toy. And Lily on the couch, where she should not be. So you gotta be kind of careful when doing this, because sometimes these plates will kind of like pop and then boom, you got seeds everywhere. And now is when you gotta be really careful, because these are sanitized and you don't want to get any germs on them. So like, that's why he has them in a clean paper plate. They're going in a clean bag. I actually just alcoholed my hands, so everything's good to go. Now I'm gonna try to, as gently as I can, put these seeds into here. Here, I'll do it kind of so you guys can see. Oh boy. Perfect. Hopefully I got that on camera. Then I'll try and squeeze the air out of it. Boom. Oh boy. My dad's probably gonna watch this video and think, what is he doing? But so far, it's working pretty good. I lost one. I only lost one seed after all that. I'm actually pretty proud. And I don't know, I don't know how important that is. Because that, for some reason, I don't know if, I'm sure he wiped the table clean, but I'm not gonna even take any chances, so I'm just gonna put that seed off to the side, and I'm not even gonna put that in. So I just got down here to the farm, and you can see here I got all my seeds packaged up, so I'm ready to start. But like I told you before, I have to sanitize my equipment before I start putting them on the seed tray, or the vacuum, I guess I should say. So over here, my dad has sedate mixed up, and this is what I'm going to use to sanitize it. Doesn't have a lot in there, but he has some, you can see right there. So I'll bring that over and I'll give it a little bit of a shake, because it's probably about a day old now. And then I'll pump it, and I'll keep pumping it until eventually, an hour later, I will get pressure. There, I'm trying to get a little bit of resistance. I'll just get all my corners here, make sure I sanitize everything real good. And it's not really the outside of the tray I'm worried about, it's the seeds where they're touching is what I'm worried about. So like, obviously the seeds are going to touch this tray. The seeds aren't going to touch the holder of the tray, but the seeds are going to be sitting right where my holder here is going to make an indentions into the soil. So I'll even sanitize the bottom of that a little bit, get that pretty good. And then I'll let it sit on there for about 10 minutes so it can really sanitize well, make sure everything's good. and then I'll be ready to start seeding. So then while I'm waiting for that stuff to dry that I'm sanitizing, I came over here to my soil and it's pretty dry and it should have some moisture with it. Like it's pretty bone dry, if you can tell. It's pretty light brown. So what I'm gonna do is take my water, and there's really no exact amount, but just kind of what I think will make it a nice moisture level. I usually end up putting too much water in, so I'm gonna kind of stop probably about right there. And then I'll just take either a scoop or the stick and I'll start stirring it around. It doesn't look like near enough, but what happens is it gets in a clump, and that clump there is soaking wet, so I gotta make sure I bust them all up, and then I'll be good to go. So Daisy's laying there all content. My stuff is dried off, put back together. I'm just about ready to start seeding. Sammy's over here writing tags for me. Got my soil all mixed up. Got my trays here, so we are just about ready to start. In my last video, you guys seen me planting the sunflowers, and I'll show you here, they are just now starting to come up. The sun buzz always has better germination, but takes a little bit longer to come up. You can see they're just starting to break through the soil. And here's the Rio Carnival now. They're coming nice. You can see there's, like that one right there is just coming out. So far they're doing really well, but it's kind of funny how I was wondering why this section here ain't coming up, and that's because I ran out of seeds. I didn't get to plant them. But so far I'm almost seeing 100% here on the Rio Carnival, besides this guy right here. Sammy's starting on her first tray. We're actually doing a mixture tray here of sugar plum and the Very Cherry Cascade. I only want to do about 40 seeds. I just tap the bottom so the seeds fall out. Sometimes they'll get stuck in there, especially when they're the smaller seeds. They'll fall out though. Sometimes when we're doing just such a small amount, we'll just choose to put them in there by hand, but I don't know, I just decided to do it with the seeder this time. It's definitely a lot faster using the seeder when we're doing a full tray, but sometimes when you're only doing 2 or 3 rows, like 50, it's just easier to do it by hand. So I just got my peppers done. Just a couple varieties I didn't get done earlier because we didn't have the seeds sanitized, so I had to wait. But now that they're all done, Got the rest of the varieties in. Here's the other ones that I did earlier. The Keystone, King Arthur, Cuban Ale, Jalapeno, all that kind of stuff. So now that that's done, I have one more thing to seed, and that is dill. But I don't use my seeder for that. I'm actually gonna go over to the other greenhouse and I'll show you what's going on. So we just got over here. We're actually gonna get some 1204s, which is these 4-packs here. Set them into the flats, and we're gonna fill them with dirt, and then we're going to kind of pack them down in. I wouldn't say pack them down in, but we're gonna actually drop the flats a little bit to settle that dirt down so we can put the seeds on top, and then the vermiculite can go over top of that. So now we're over here, and like I said, she's gonna pick it up and set it down about 3 times. And as you can see, that soil's starting to go down. That's perfect. It's settled down there about 1/4 of an inch, just enough so that we can put our seeds on top of there and then cover it. Okay, so now we're ready to start laying the dill seed in there. Now the thing is that this thing is actually supposed to be able to press that button, and it should vibrate, and I should be able to kind of just slowly tap the button and vibrate the seeds out into here. But somehow, some way, this broke, and I don't know how to fix it. Obviously it's not just the battery. And these things cost, I think, over $100. So, whoa. For now, where's my tweezers?
Behind you. Or a stapler.
For now, I'm just gonna take my tweezers, tap this thing, and shake them in there myself. I wanna get like 5 to 10 seeds in there. Obviously, sometimes I'm gonna get a couple more. Sometimes I'm gonna get a couple less, but as an average, that's what I'm just trying to do here. So I've actually never done dill before, but from what I understand, that's the way it's supposed to look. I guess we'll find out once it starts growing. So then in here, Sammy is filling it up with vermiculite. That actually looks pretty good, Sammy. Maybe a little more yet. So now that that's done, I'm pretty much done for today in the greenhouse. I wanted to tell you guys I'm actually going to Tennessee to see my sister. She has kind of like, I wouldn't say she has a farm, she has like a pretty big garden, and she lives out in the country, so I'm gonna go see her. I'm actually gonna take a video while I'm out there. I'll show you guys what it looks like out there, how her garden's looking. I might, you know, stop by and visit a farm, I don't know. So be sure to watch the next video because it's gonna be something totally different. And I did just want to do a quick run by of stuff in here because when I come back it's going to be a week later, and I'm not sure if this stuff is going to even be in these little cells anymore, or if they're going to be transplanted into pots or baskets or whatever. So I'm just going to do a quick run by here, and that way I can reflect back and look at it and see what stuff looked like before I was gone, because this time of year in a week things can change a lot. So things like these sunflowers will definitely be planted by the time I come back. Probably, we're running out of room here, so all these baskets that we have hangers on, they're probably gonna start hanging these up, I would think. Over here, you can see a lot of the hanging baskets are really starting to come out in flowers now. Over here, these spotted pink and purple petunias are really doing nice. These are definitely probably one of my favorite flowers in the greenhouse. And then that's probably about it. Besides all of these seedlings will definitely, I would think probably at least 1/4, maybe up to 1/2 of these will be gone by the time I come back. So kind of excited to get away, go out and do something fun for a little while. But then I know after a couple days, I'm already gonna be starting to get homesick and want to be back here in the greenhouse. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.